Let's talk about secret desires. And we're going to come at this from a couple different angles. The first, let's get this out of the way. I want to talk to you about the election. I specifically want to talk to you about what happened again in this 2020 election versus the 2016 election. Now, as I'm recording this, the official outcome of the election has not been decided, and I don't want to weigh in on that. But I want to talk about what's happened once again, which is that the polls of people trying to measure before the actual election took place in the US, who was going to be the winner. And the polls this time said Joe Biden was going to be a big winner by, big margins, in some cases, double-digit margins versus what's actually gone on. And the same thing happened before with the election versus Hillary Clinton in 2016. Hillary Clinton was seen in the polls as a broad leader across the board, and she would get the presidency. And that didn't happen. And even if Biden gets the presidency, that's his win will not match with what the polls said beforehand. And so why is that? Well, one of the big things that at least it resonates with the kind of truthiness that Stephen Colbert talks about, that Trump's voters are not willing to talk to the people that call up and do the polls. That Trump has magnified maybe a sense of distrust in the establishment, which includes the people who actually call up and ask you, hey, who are you going to vote for president? And so disproportionately, the people who hang up on the people who call up and say, hey, who are you going to vote for president, are Trump voters. And so they get underrepresented in the polls. And when those people actually go to the ballot box, they cast the vote for Trump. Now, I don't know what the exact reason is for that, but I do know that I've seen other research that said that conservatives recently have disproportionately felt like they cannot express their opinion about politics without fear of retribution. They feel like they're going to get attacked for saying, hey, I support Trump. And so, somebody calls you up and says, who do you support? And you have that fear. What are you going to do? So you have this desire to vote for Trump, and you keep it secret because you are afraid of rejection. And this is a completely normal reaction. In fact, here's where I bridge away and don't talk about politics anymore. We as human beings have all sorts of secret desires. And throughout history, there have been people, from every direction who have told us what is okay to have as a desire and what is not okay to have as a desire. And it doesn't make the desire go away if somebody tells you that's not okay. In fact, oftentimes repressing that desire makes it stronger. The act of pushing it down, it's like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The act of pushing that desire down makes it push up harder from underneath. And so people develop these like strong secret desires that they keep hidden from the world. And the other reason that I'm thinking about this right now is because I'm finishing up my program called Sleight of Pen, Hypnosis, Persuasion, and Belief Change for Copywriters. And part of what I talk about in the marketing for it specifically, it's not public yet, but I'll include a link to the current description, which is also where the longer description is going to go. Part of what I talk about there is hypnosis and like, can you make people do things that they don't want to do through hypnosis? And widely, the consensus in the hypnosis community is that no, you can't make people do things that they don't want to do, but people want to do a lot of things that they may not readily admit that they want to do. Now, there are people who push the ethical and moral boundaries of that, and there are certainly cases of abuse by hypnotists taking advantage of people who are particularly vulnerable. And so I want to leave that like overt, either, complete immoral or unethical or illegal behavior out for a minute, but instead focus on like the vast majority of experiences of hypnosis and those kinds of things. And I want to talk about people who act like a chicken up on stage. So you get this stage hypnotist who gets on stage in front of this big group of people, and he gets the entire crowd, or she gets the entire crowd to do a suggestibility test. And it may be something with like magnetic hands, or it may be, any of a number of different tests that get the people in the audience to practice following the hypnotist directions. And the ones that are particularly good at it, they get invited up on stage. And the hypnotist then takes the people up on stage through an induction and actually induces hypnosis in a number of the people. And as the people who are up on stage are proving to be better or worse subjects, the hypnotist actually sends some people back, because even if they were great in the audience doing this suggestibility test, they don't really participate in the induction on stage for whatever reason, either conscious or unconscious. So what's left on stage is a bunch of people who were readily willing to follow the hypnotist instructions in the audience and then come up on stage in front of a bunch of peers, usually, and follow the hypnotist instructions with this whole framing around the entire scenario of, you're going to be hypnotized and we're going to do this for entertainment of the entire audience. So think about that. And we're thinking about secret desires, and we're thinking about who is going to be predisposed to say yes to come up on stage at one of these shows. First off, who's going to be predisposed to even go to a stage hypnosis show? And then who's going to be predisposed to go up on stage and to willingly go under hypnosis with all the preconceived notions that we have about what's going to happen there? Well, on some level, you may look at the people who go up on stage and say, "Oh, that person's pretty reserved, or they're not outgoing, they're an introvert, whatever." And some of them certainly would match that description. But then by the end of the show, they're up on stage and they believe the hypnotist is Elvis come back to life at his prime, and they believe that they're a world famous pop star, and they're dancing and gyrating up on stage like a world famous pop star. And they believe that they're a chicken, and they're clucking like a chicken and dancing around on stage, acting like a chicken. And they're doing all of these things that, if you show them the video the next day, they're completely embarrassed that they did that. So what gives? Like, if hypnotists can't make people do things that they don't want to do, what gives? Well, what gives is that we have secret desires. We have parts of us that we want to let out, that we filter, that we suppress, that we don't allow to come out until we're given permission, until we're given the permission of the context. And so that person who goes up on stage, who maybe most of the time really does filter and suppress their behavior, there's a part of them that maybe wants to be the life of the party, that's jealous of people who are the life of the party, that's jealous of people who are the center of attention, and who are able to like entertain an entire audience, and they love that. But they can't like get over themselves to really like shine themselves. And so the stage hypnosis show is a opportunity for them. It's an opportunity for them to blame the hypnotist and remove those filters through the process of hypnosis, of this like very public display of the hypnosis process. And it can be happening on conscious and unconscious or subconscious levels. Like it doesn't always have to, like they're not necessarily consciously making this decision, but they have this secret desire, the secret unfulfilled desire that the context of the stage hypnosis show allows them to express. And so you get this person who it's completely unexpected that they are going to get up on stage and act like a chicken and perform like a pop star and whatever else. And the whole audience goes wild. And even though they can say, oh, I don't remember that, I wasn't conscious of it, there is a part of you under hypnosis that's always aware, that's protecting you, that is observing the entire thing going on. In fact, a lot of people, and this is my experience of hypnosis, that even when I'm kind of in a trance, there's always still the conscious part of my mind that's always kind of there paying attention. And what happens is that conscious part of your mind says, this is an opportunity to let go. And you also see the same thing, like getting drunk and hypnosis are not the same thing, but I will say that you see the same thing with people who go to the bar, they have a few too many drinks, and they call it liquid courage, and they go do things that, like that hypnosis show, they might be embarrassed about the next day. And the same thing happens like in the privacy of our own homes when we don't have social pressures, like when we get on the internet and we're able to go on there anonymously and we're able to go like participate in conversations without our identity being known. We're able to like open up these parts of ourselves that, may or may not be something that we would want published on the front page of the newspaper with our identity revealed, right? And so human beings always have these secret desires. I have them, you have them, we all have them, our prospects have them. Like, if we're in marketing and communications, the people that we are writing to have these secret desires. And in politics, of course, like people have these secret desires. And oftentimes the more that they're suppressed, the harder we fight to hold on to them. Even if like we have conflicting desires. So for example, that person who's up on stage clucking like a chicken at the hypnosis show, one desire that they may have is to be seen as like a respectful, well put together, self-controlled person. And that's one desire. But another desire that they want to have, or that they have, is to be seen as like a free spirit and to be the life of the party and to be the center of attention. And it's these desires that there's an inner sense of conflict between them. These, there's the secret desire that is suppressed by our filtering in our everyday life. And there's the overt desire that is how we tend to live our life and how we try to get other people to see us. And like I said, like those can be in total conflict. They can be opposite ends of the spectrum. And if we don't acknowledge that people have these secret desires, people will behave in ways that we really don't expect. And people will behave in ways that are contrary to even what they say they stand for or what they'll talk about publicly. And, that's both, it's like both fascinating and scary when you think about that. And from a copywriting and marketing perspective, because because that's what these videos are, like this is my video issue of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. From a copywriting and marketing perspective, it's worth knowing, worth recognizing that every person, every prospect that you're speaking to, every market has their own unique set of secret desires, not just like what they say and do publicly and what they claim to want publicly, but what they say and do and want in complete privacy. And honestly, like, this is something that direct marketers have known forever, because we don't, like, a good direct marketer does not live in the world of how people should behave and how people are expected to behave. A good direct marketer lives in the world of how people actually do behave. And you measure people's behavior and people's response to certain stimulus. And what direct marketers often find is that people respond, people buy, people take action based on these secret desires when they are, when it's just them and the advertisement in front of them asking them to take action. And it's often the marketers who are best able to understand and speak to these secret desires who are the ones that, create the biggest breakthroughs. So, like I said, my name is Roy Furr. This has been a video issue of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. What do you think? What is your experience with this? What do you like? What's your reaction? Leave a comment below and let me know. I would also love it if you rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, how much value you got from this lesson, and just let me know why. Like, leave that in the comments below. Click that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you. Also, so the magical algorithms of the internet know to share it with people like you who will find it valuable. Also, you can share it with people directly who are in your life who you think would find it valuable, and subscribe before you go. Subscribe here. Also, go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com and subscribe to my daily emails Monday through Friday. You get content like this delivered to you every day, plus bonus content for email subscribers. And check out the links in the description. Like I said, I'm also going to link to the Sleight of Pen training, which is my new training for copywriters and marketers using principles of hypnosis and an understanding of how the mind, the conscious mind and the unconscious, the subconscious mind work. And it's really fascinating stuff there. That's part of my BTMS Insiders training library, and you get access to all of it for one low monthly fee. So again, check out the links in the description. My name is Roy Furr. I hope you have found this 10 out of 10 valuable. That's always my goal. And I look forward to seeing you again in your next video issue. I'll see you soon. Bye.